Might as well get on with it. He dumped the remains of his already cold coffee into the sink and switched off the radio as it started to play another sappy carol. Geez, he must be losing it. Even with the radio off, he swore he could still hear the sound of sleigh bells. Nope, they were gone. Wait, there they were again. He cocked his head, listening, as he opened the front door and stepped out onto the bunkhouse porch. The sun was out, but a light snow was falling, covering the ranch in a dusting of white, and giving it a magical feel as the flakes sprinkled like diamonds in the air. A typical day in the Colorado mountains. He pulled on his Carhartt jacket and grabbed his cowboy hat from the peg inside the door. His sunglasses were in his coat pocket, and he slid them on, cutting the glare of the sun off the snow. He snatched another donut from the box and stuffed it in his mouth. A large pig wearing a silk poinsettia around her neck lay on the front porch, and she lifted her head to offer him a friendly snort. "Mornin', Tiny," he said to the pig, who thought of herself as more like a dog, as he leaned down to scratch her behind the ears. He disliked Christmas, but he liked animals. And it wasn't the pig's fault he was grumpy and imagining he heard Santa's sleigh bells. The pig leaned into the scratch, and he swore she smiled up at him. Try as he might, he couldn't help but smile back as he passed her the other half of his donut. His head jerked up as the jingle of bells rang through the air again. He looked in the direction of the sound, then blinked at the sight of a huge black horse galloping across the field, a yoke of sleigh bells around her neck. The mare looked like some kind of mirage, the way she suddenly materialized out of the snow and trotted into the farmyard, her thick black mane floating around her neck as the bells jingled. "Whoa there," Holt said, holding up his hand as he stepped down off the porch and toward the horse. A decade spent rodeoing and cowboying had taken away any fear of horses. But he still had a healthy respect for them, especially ones this big. The horse came to a stop in front of him, and Holt reached for the red and green halter around her neck. 2 silver tags were affixed to its side. One read Mary, which he assumed was the mare's name. The other tag read Mountainside Ranch. And seeing the name of the farm hit him like a punch to the gut. He'd thought about the place, and her, a million times since he'd been back in Creedence. How could he not? Lainey McBride and Mountainside Ranch were as much a part of the town and the time he'd spent here as a kid as his own grandparents' ranch. Bran and her brother Bucky, and he and his brother Cade, all got dumped on their grandparents every summer. They didn't mind. They all loved it. Riding horses, swimming and going fishing in the pond, eating wild strawberries and their grandmother's peach cobbler. They all helped around the farm, too. But their grandparents always seemed to make it fun.